Pterodactyl here, and today I'm going to do a review on this here Toro Timecutter with the MyRide suspension system. This is a residential mower. This is a mower for the homeowner. This isn't a commercial mower. And this here is the MyRide system. Now, Toro didn't give me this mower, but they did compensate me for doing this review. I don't know about you, but I don't work for free. So let's go over some of the features of this new mower. First off, let's discuss this MyRide suspension system. This isn't a new system. They've had it for a few years. This is just a new upgraded version. The older version had a couple of shocks that went here, and there were adjustments on the back of the seat. So whenever you needed to adjust the MyRide system, you would have to get off the mower, adjust it, get back on until you found a spot that was for you. And that was on their commercial mowers, not on their residential. And how it works is, this whole platform that you sit on is the suspension. And depending on your weight, you can adjust the suspension from this one lever here on the side. So what you do is you always start off in the plus. And then as you're driving it, you can adjust it to where you feel comfortable. Say your wife, may want it in this position if she cuts the grass, and you may want it all the way in this position. So you can adjust it to the different people who may be operating the machine for your comfort. And the reason they did that is, other lawnmowers may have suspension on the front and on the back. Well, what that does is when you run over bumps, that's going to give you an uneven cut. This way we have a solid platform that we're on. And the only thing that's going to be suspended is this. And it seems like it's pretty comfortable. So that's the MyRide suspension, upgraded. Let's take a look at the seat here. This is a pretty nice seat for a residential mower. It's sewn. It's got 3 colors going on. It's got armrests, and it's adjustable. It's a pretty nice seat. Looks like a seat that you would see on a more of a commercial mower. Now this is something I've never seen before. A smart speed control system. And what this is for people who've never had a zero-turn mower before and may not be comfortable in trying to control it. So you can put it in this low speed here, this turtle speed, and you can get used to controlling the mower. And then as you feel more comfortable, you can move it to this middle one, which will make it go faster, and you can also use this for towing. And then once you feel comfortable with the mower, you can put it all the way in rabbit, which is full speed. Now this isn't a throttle, this doesn't control the engine, this controls the transmission. So when you have it in the slowest speed, you're still going to get the optimum power from the engine and to the deck. So it's not going to interfere with any of that. This is just on the transmission. Now let's take a look at the deck they put on this mower. First thing I notice is it's a fabricated deck. It's not a stamped steel deck, and it's a 10 gauge steel deck. Not like most manufacturers that have a stamped deck that's 11 gauge. This is a little bit thicker. And I notice it's got a welded reinforcement all the way around it, like a commercial mower would have. So here you're getting some commercial features on a residential mower, which is nice. And it's got these quick pop-off covers that quickly pop off so you can access the belt. And the first thing I notice, no grease fitting. I don't see or feel a grease fitting anywhere, unless there's one underneath. And another thing I notice, it's got a 1/2 inch belt. 1/2 inch belt for a 50-inch mower. I know on my Timecutter, I've got an older 2004 52 inch, it's got a 5/8 belt. but this one's got a 1/2 inch. And it's a Kevlar wrapped belt, so it's a good belt. Let's take a look at the deck system, how it raises and lowers. Well, it's got a pretty standard raise and lower system like a lot of zero turns have, with the foot pedal to help take pressure off the lever so you can put it at your different cutting heights. This is pretty standard on a lot of mowers and a good feature. I like it. Let's take a look at the chute. Let's lift up the chute and look at the blade and the chute system. It's got a big plastic chute on here, and it's got what's called a top discharge chute right here. This is cut away. This is a top discharge, and this is for the bagger. They do have a bagger for this mower, and what it does is it eliminates the need for a power bagger. You know, when you get to 50 inches or bigger, a lot of manufacturers have what's called a power bagger, which is another unit that mounts here with a belt with a fan in it to help blow the grass and leaves into the bagger. They eliminated that by this system. And what it does is, instead of when the grass flies out, instead of hitting the chute and losing momentum, it actually blows it up the tube to the bagger. The blade tip speed on this mower is the maximum allowed by law, and that is 18,400 feet per minute. That's the maximum blade tip speed. That's fast. You can really rip through some grass with that. Woo! Grass ripper. And they have two different style blades for these mowers. They have this high lift, or high sail as they call it, blade. And they have a low lift blade which comes with the mulching kit. They have a mulching kit for this which has a lower lift. Now you would be able to get aftermarket gator blades for this. They did tell me that they have aftermarket blades that'll fit this mower. So the blade they're utilizing here is the same that they use on some of their other models. So these are gator blades. Just like these teeth. These are gator's teeth. Well, here's an aftermarket gator blade that I stock, and sure enough, this blade would fit this mower. Now looking under the deck, it looks like it's got just standard regular spindles. Again, no grease fitting under here. But like I said, a lot of manufacturers don't put grease fittings on their spindles and parts anymore. Here's your gas gauge, which is pretty standard on a lot of zero turns nowadays, along with a cup holder and a little tray. It's got dual deck wash plugs. You know what that means? That means it's got a port on each side of the deck. That means there's two of these. That's what dual means. Dual means two. And it looks like we got some replaceable front caster parts here. So I guess if you wear out the front end, you can replace just this part without having to replace the whole front axle. And it looks like it's made out of aluminum. And the tires are pneumatic tires. They're not flat free tires. But again, this is a residential mower. I'm sure you could always put no flat or flat free tires on it. And again, no grease fitting on these casters in the front. But there is a grease fitting on the wheel. There is a grease fitting on the wheel for the front bearings. Now they've widened the axle on this. They made it a little wider to make it more stable when you're mowing on hills. So it is a little bit wider in the back. And it uses Toro's own engine. This isn't a Kawasaki, this isn't a Honda, this isn't a Corolla. This is Toro's own engine. It's been out for a few years now, and we've had a couple come into the shop, and the only thing I've had to do to them was put an air filter and change the oil on them. They never come in for any major repairs so far. My brother Farrell, who's a big Toro dealer, I asked him if he's seen any, and he said the same thing. So far, just air filters and oil changes, just routine maintenance. He hasn't seen any major engine problems or that, but it's been out for a few years. It's got a nice air cleaner system on it, where you just pop this out, the air filter comes out. It's got a 2-stage filter, the pre-filter and the canister, and it's very simple to go in. And if you don't get this latched in right, no problem. The cover will put it in the right position. It also has these cutouts in here. And what that does is, there's 4 cutouts in here. What that does is when the flywheel's spinning, it helps to kind of disperse the dirt away from the air filter, making the air filter last longer. It's got a 2-barrel carburetor on it. It's got this aluminum, heavy aluminum intake that goes to the carburetor. It's got nice heavy valve covers on it. Like I said, we've seen a few of these. I haven't had any problems. It seems to be a strong motor. Another thing it has, it's got 3 weights on the governor spool, which is supposed to give it better throttle response when you get under a load. You don't get that drop in power like you do with other mowers. And it's got this quick change oil system. It's got this hose on here. You just undo it from here, you pull it off of here, and you can drain your oil. And then when you're done, you just shove it back up into there. So that's kind of neat. That's a quick change oil system. Oil filter's easy to get at. Another thing I notice is there's not a lot of obstructions back here. They kind of kept this cut out, so accessibility to the engine components, if you have to work on it, it's pretty wide open. I like that you can get in here. I know some other zero turns we struggle to get in, to get at components. I can get at the fuel filter pretty easily. I can get at the starter. So I like that's open. It's got a latch to hold the seat up. And this thing does have a spot for an hour meter right here. And the wire is there. So if you want to add an hour meter, you can add an hour meter to this machine. It uses just standard, non-serviceable hydro units. But again, it's a residential mower. It's not a commercial mower. Those units seem to be pretty good. They last a long time, the non-serviceable units. It's also got an electric parking brake. That's kind of a nice feature too. So as soon as you push the bars out, the parking brake engages. And as long as you got the blades off, you can get off and this will keep running, which is nice. Because a lot of times when you have one where you gotta engage the parking brake manually, you know, you go to get off and then the motor dies and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, I gotta put the parking brake in. And you gotta put the parking brake in. So this one does it automatically. As soon as you swing it out, parking brake engages, you can get off in case you gotta move something, it'll stay running. They have a lot of accessories for this too. They have a light kit, you can put lights in the front. They got a sunshade, so you can put a little canopy over the top of you, keep the sun off of you. The bagger that I mentioned. They also have a jack. You can mount a jack to this and you can jack up the mower. It's actually mounted to the mower. It stays with the mower. And then you can access the deck. You can buy that. And there's a couple other ones. Oh, what are they? Let me think. Oh yeah, the other accessories are the ROPS bar. If you don't know what a ROPS is, it's called a rollover protection system. That's what ROPS stands for. And that's a bar, like a roll bar that goes on it. And then they have another thing that's called an entry assist bar or lever that mounts to the mower. To find out more about the accessories, go to your local Toro dealer. They'll be more than happy to help you look at those accessories for this mower. Well, I think I covered about everything on this mower, except there's just one last thing to do, and that's let's cut some grass with it. Woo! Let's go cut grass! I had the deck set at 2.5. Let's go all the way down. Let's scalp her. Woo! Let's scalp it down to the ground. Seems like it's got plenty of power and does a good job. You know what I noticed when I was doing the rows? I wasn't getting that windrow effect, you know, that hayfield effect. It seemed to be really shooting it out far. And then I moved my MyRide down to about here because I had it all the way on stiff. And I moved it down to there, and boy, it's pretty comfy. I'll tell you, I could ride on this thing all day. That field we was cutting in was pretty smooth. So I found some bumpy terrain here on the side of my shop. And I got this set at the lowest position. Look at it, I got it set to comfy zone. This is like sitting in your recliner. Let's see how smooth it is on some bumpy terrain. Now to give you an idea on how far it's throwing that grass, I cut right along the edge of this parking lot, and look, it threw the grass all the way out here. So it threw it out a good 10 feet. And it wasn't even tall grass. I don't know if the camera could catch all that, but this MyRide is pretty smooth. It was a smooth ride and comfortable. It was so comfortable that I wanted to start to fall asleep. I'm not sleeping! In conclusion, let's go over a few things I like and what I don't like about this mower. I like the MyRide system. I think that's nice. I like that it's got a fabricated deck for a residential mower. I like Toro's engine. I like their new engine. Seems like it's strong and healthy. I like this emergency brake setup where you just put the arms out. Now, what I don't like that they're using a 1/2-inch belt for this big 50-inch deck. And I don't like that there's a lack of grease fittings in certain areas. And the last thing I don't like is they're not giving me this lawnmower for free. Overall, This is a pretty nice mower for a residential mower. It's got a lot of nice features on it. And it's competitively priced to other mowers of its size. This would be a good entry-level mower for a guy thinking about going into commercial lawn maintenance because of that fabricated deck like a commercial mower, and it wouldn't beat you up too bad on the price. So if you want to find out more, go to your local Toro dealer or go on the Interscreen. Go to Toro's website. You can find out some more information on this mower. And as always, there's your dinner. Woo!